Okay, I'm going to give you guys some instructions on the map assignment here. We'll get into this next week, but if you want to get going over the weekend, if the Mac Lab is open and ready after our IT reinstall of the Adobe programs, if you guys want to jump on this on your own laptops or in the Mac Lab, here are some instructions, but we will go over this on Monday as well. So download the map and the legend right here, and then we'll kind of cover some of these things right here during this map tutorial, and I'll go over this later next week. Okay, but with the map, we'll talk about selections, isolation mode, the layers panel, selection tool, direct selection tool, grouping, and a few other things. So make sure you watch these tutorials. They're really going to help you out. Okay, so we'll jump over to the map assignment. Actually, before we do that, we'll go back to the modules. The files are here in week 2, and the actual map instructions, it's pretty simple, are in week 3. So turn in your map project here and make your own map with 3 subway lines, 4 stops, a background color, and a key. All right, so we'll look at this. So this is the map right here. You can see they have different layers. We have the transfer layer right here, these layers. We have stations. These are the stations right here. All the text, we'll talk about how to put text in, and then the simple background. Okay. We also have the legend. You'll need to create your own legend, which is in a separate file. So first thing we'll do is I may move through this video quickly, so feel free to pause if you need to and go back. All right. So we're going to drag and select this whole area right here. So if I just click and drag this and then I copy, I'm bringing this into the map. I've already pasted it in. I'll delete it right here, and then I have a layer for it. I just put it right below, so I'll paste this down there, and you can see it's right below everything. It's below everything because it's behind. It's at the bottom of all those layers. Okay, so there's my legend. Create your own legend with these shapes, and add these lines that you have for your subway stops in here. And to create this key and these other shapes, we need to use something we haven't used before, which is the shape tool. Okay, so we have the shape tool right here. If I just click and hold, you get all sorts of shapes: the rectangle tool, the rounded rectangle tool, ellipse tool, polygon, and star tool. There really aren't as many as you might think. There's only a few because Illustrator knows that you can make all sorts of shapes out of these basic shapes right here. All right, I use the square and the ellipse tool all the time. So if we want to recreate the key, let's get the rectangle tool. We have that, and then let's go over to either color or swatches, or you can see our color right here. Like I said, there's lots of ways to do different things in Illustrator. So I usually go over to swatches or color, or you guys may have appearance as well. I know we've been looking at appearance. It's the same deal. So this is the fill color, like it says fill, and this is the stroke color. Okay, so right now if I drew a box, it would be filled with black and there would be no stroke. So let's do that. I will draw a box and it's filled with black and no stroke. All right, let's make it just like this, a white fill. So we'll change it to white, and then we click on the stroke here, and then let's change to a black stroke color. We'll go over to stroke right here up top, and we'll make the stroke 3 points. Okay, stroke can also be found on the side menu right here in stroke. If you don't see that, it's up in window and it's right there. Okay, again, there's lots of ways to look at this in Illustrator, so just find what's comfortable for you. If you want to follow what I do, I usually have it tucked away kind of right here in a little drawer, and then I just open it and then I close it just like that. Okay, so we have that right there. We've made the outline of this legend right here. What I like to do with these things is to make them this highlighted yellow section right here. You don't have to make it exactly like this, but let's just do it just for practice. I have this basic shape here, and if I have the key, I can see what's going on here. I have this basic layer. I'm going to press Command C to copy and Command F to paste in place. And you can see another layer popped up right on top of there. Okay, I'm going to get my black arrow right here, and then I'm just going to drag up this layer to create the same, in the same spot here, a yellow box in the same spot. And then you can actually use the eyedropper key and just press the letter I, and it'll eyedrop this color and mimic that exact fill. Okay, so there we go. So it's outlining. I'm just going over a little bit of those edges, so I can bring this in right here if I want it to be just right. We'll tuck that in there, and that's really nice, and it looks really good. But you can make that however you would like. Okay, actually, probably what we should do is just send this to the back and move this behind. I'll just drag this layer behind there, and then go to the top layer and then take away the fill. That way, I have a crisp, clean edge right there. Okay. Now there's a little shadow behind there. You can create a little shadow behind there. I'm going to duplicate this layer, copy and paste, and then I'm going to use a couple shortcuts here. I'm going to move this layer behind and then fill it with white. That way I can add a little shadow layer behind there and make that shadow. So I'm going to copy and paste again. I'm going fast here. Copy and then Command F and then use my arrows to just bump this over, just my little arrows on my keyboard. And then I'll take away the stroke, get that away, and then put in a little shadow and make sure that's all the way behind. So I just move that all the way to the bottom of that that layer right there. See, it's all the way at the bottom right here. Okay, and I'm using a couple shortcuts here. I'm moving, you can move layers up one at a time by pressing Command and then the right bracket. So if I press Command and the right bracket, just watch this rectangle right here, this one, it'll keep bumping up through these layers. Just watch the little blue dot, it'll go. See, there it goes once and another and another. So it's above those layers, okay? And you can do the same thing by moving down by Command left bracket. Or if you want to shoot something all the way to the top, press Shift Command or Command Shift right bracket, and that'll go straight to the top. We'll try and watch this blue dot go all the way up there. Boom. And I just Shift Command left bracket. I use this all the time. And Shift Command left bracket just to drop it to the back. Okay, so I just did a series of pasting things in front of each other by using Command C to copy and then Command F to paste in place right over the top of it. It's really handy. Okay, then we need to put some text into place. And with text, we go over to this T for the Type tool. If you press and hold on the Type tool, you'll see Type, Type Area, Type on a Path, Vertical Type, all these things. Let's just use the Type tool. That's what I use most of the time. So it's just a regular T. I can just click right here and I can start typing. Okay, there's a couple things with the Type tool. If I just click somewhere and I start typing, it'll put in some lorem ipsum, just some regular text, and I can type just like this. And it'll, if I go and I keep typing, it'll just type on forever and for days. Okay. Now, you might also want to create a text box where you have something like a box like this. So if you click and drag out a box and you type things in here, like this for days, it'll fit in the box, okay? Which is kind of nice. So if you click and drag and make a square or a box, you can type in that box. Okay, now let's get to this map. So you'll need to recreate this map and use the layers. You'll need to name your layers just like this, but make new subway stations where you would like. Make your own map here. So we have a few things on here. We have these lines here of subway lines where we have 3 different colors. You'll need to recreate your own lines, and to get into those are grouped together and they're on their own layer, but they're grouped. Okay, and we do that, I'll get to that in a second here, but we double click inside that group and we go into an isolation mode. To get in that isolation mode, you double click and then you can see there's this little gray bar on top and you see background and then group. So now we're in this group and I can individually select these lines. It's kind of nice to keep things nice and tidy in there. Okay, and to group those things, if you wanted to group something, select the things you want to group by clicking and dragging, selecting all those things, or just individually clicking and holding Shift, and you would select the things you want to group. Easiest way to do to group things is pressing Command G, or you can go up to Object and Group. Okay, but you guys are pros, so press Command G, and that's the shortcut right there. Now those things are grouped. Okay, then use your Shape tool to build these subway stops right here. We need a circle. You don't have to use a circle, but that's what we have here in the demo. So let's see. Let's go over to these transfer stations right here. Press and hold on the square. Get the ellipse tool, and we'll use the ellipse tool. Okay. Now a couple things with the ellipse tool. If I just click and drag, I'm going to get a kind of a wonky shape. All right. If I want to hold down, if I want a perfect circle, I'll hold down Shift, and I have a nice circle. Okay. Now it stays as a circle. And the next thing is, this is something I'm pretty sure Paul and I do all the time. We hold down Option as well. Then we create a circle from the center point. I really like that. It just keeps things nice and clean. I know where I'm creating that circle from, so I'm holding Option and Shift right now, and I have that circle. Now I'll let go of the mouse, and I have that circle. And again, I'm using copy and paste to get these all in the same place, but I'm going to show you something else as well. Okay, so I could press Command C, Command F to copy and paste on top, change the top color, and then shrink it down. And I'm also holding Shift to constrain the circle so it's round, and Option to constrain it to the middle, which is really nice. Okay, so I have both of those things right there. But let's look at another little tool here really quick as well. If I select both of those circles and I want to line them up, select one, I'll press Shift and click the other. Now I have those. Now I want to go up to Align, and if you don't have a line, make sure you go to Window, and go to Align right here, but it should also be at the top. I'll go to Align, and then I'm going to check Align To and Align to the selection. Now, see we have this Align Objects menu right here. I'm going to align those horizontally, so up and down. Then I'll check this for Align Vertically. So I'll align those vertically. Now, boom, they're exactly right on top of each other, and I have a subway stop right here. Okay, you can make a square, a diamond, whatever shape you want, but that will work right there. Okay, then use the text to put in your own text stations, make a background with those shapes as well, and put your key in there, and you'll have the map. Okay, we'll cover this on Monday as well, but if you want to get a head start, because we had a power outage today, on Friday we didn't have class, so if you can get ahead on this, at least watch the video so you know a bit what's going on. You'll also need to know how to use this for Paul's zoo symbols assignment. When you get those zoo symbols, you're going to have a bunch of little squares like this, and they'll all be black, I think. And then you'll also have some squares that I think will look something like this, if I remember correctly. Oops, not like that. There we go. I can't see that guide right there. They're going to be little half circles like this, and you're going to be able you're going to need to scale those. So you're just going to press Shift. That's the biggest thing. Press Shift. Don't scale them like this. Okay, Paul will get mad if you do that, and rightfully so. So scale those to the grid that you have, but just press and hold Shift. Also remember, if you want to constrain those from the middle and grow them out to be larger, press Shift to constrain the proportions, and then hold Option to grow that from the largest size. Okay, so that's how you scale things. If you ever scale logos or text or anything, press Shift so it constrains that and keeps that shape the same. Okay, we don't want to skew something and make a shape like that with your zoo symbols, or we don't want to do that with text. If I stretch this text out, don't do that. It's a big no-no. If you want to make that text bigger, click and drag like this. Okay, so that's how you add text, make those lines, group them together, use your layers right there, and we'll review this again on Friday. But please watch this video so you are prepared for Monday for next week.